A former Hamas best friend's baby sister said is World Jihad Day. We're also worried about jihadist groups like Syria. We have Iran-backed Shia militia groups in Iraq. We have all sorts of jihadist groups that are our worst nightmare. Representative Michael McCall said CNN on Thursday. New reports say the massacre in Israel was apparently planned for 2 years. Another Hamas leader admitted in an interview with Russia TV that Hamas was actually planning for warfare under the guise of providing. We wanted them to think Hamas was busy with governing Gaza and that it wanted to focus on the 2.5 million Palestinians and has abandoned the resistance altogether. All while under the table, Hamas was preparing for the big attack, said senior Hamas official Ali Baraka. The interview, translated by the group Memory, a Middle Eastern research institute founded by Israeli Americans, also includes a demand that members of Hamas detained in the United States be released. We obviously take our responsibility to get Americans are held overseas back with their families. We have in the past entered in negotiations. Memory is very good at making memes. I don't know how valid their maybe. I guess they're doing a World Jihad game. Tomorrow. World Jihad Day, sorry. Bro, you keep saying Iran this, Iran that. I was counting on that 6 billion, shaking my head because of you. Keep saying Iran did it. Now they went and kept my 6 billion. Sorry. What does Day of Jihad pose to American cities? A former Hamas leader called on Muslims to take to the streets Friday. Okay, we got to watch
Balbani,
this.
former New York State Homeland Security advisor and the current director of Redland Securities. What do you make of this call for this global day of jihad? Is this something, it's not the first time we've had one of these, but given what's going on today, should we take this seriously?
So you're right that we've had this before, and yet, but this is a different set of circumstances. And this is an incredibly emotional time. And so what you're going to see is that people.
Wait, we've had it before. Wait, did I misunderstand what Michael Balboni is saying?
Very skittish, and this is an incredibly emotional time. And so what you're going to see is that people are very, very.
Global day of jihad. Is this something, it's not the first time we've had one of these, but given.
It's not the first time we've had one of these? Did I miss out on all the other former jihad days, bro? What the fuck's going on? Motherfuckers keep calling me HamasAbi, and I've missed out apparently on all of the jihad days. This is apparently she's aware of it though. This is like she's like, "Oh, it happens all the time." I mean, it's crazy. The last week she's like, "It was wild the last time it happened, remember?" And he's like, "Yeah, it was really fucked up. Happens all the time." I'm like, "What planet is it this happening on?" Did you guys know about the World Jihad Days?
Given what's going on today, should we take this seriously?
So you're right that we've had this before, and yet, but this is a different.
Like, what do they mean? Like, was 9/11 a global jihad day? What the fuck? What? I don't want to make jokes about this. I want to take it very seriously. Because I genuinely have no fucking idea what they're talking about. But like I feel like I'm living in a different planet. Like they keep bringing stuff up. That is very confusing.
Set of circumstances. And this is an incredibly emotional time. And so what you're going to see is that people are very, very skittish about this, and they're nervous. And so what you have to do is you have to produce calm. New York City has been the place of protests for decades. And New York City Police Department is probably one of the most experienced police forces in the world in separating groups with different types of opinions, making sure that you don't have this type of on-the-street violence. But then moreover, there's infrastructure protection strategies that are in place right now.
Yeah, but this isn't, it's not just New York City. It's cities across all over the world that he's calling to have these protests at a time when we're seeing great emotion on both sides around this whole thing.
Right. So I guess the thing that people are most concerned about is the call for bloodshed.
Right.
It's not just, this is not, they're not calling for peaceful protests. But yet, if you study in the past types of terrorist attacks, what you realize is that it just doesn't happen overnight. And typically, somebody from around the world calling for this type of action doesn't usually resonate and doesn't result in a concerted attack anywhere in the world itself. That takes planning, that takes preparation, and you don't really have that. However, having said that, there's no way that any.
Okay. What is he saying? I'm still confused as to what this global day of jihad is. And I feel like, pretty sure they just mean that people have called for a jihad before.
Police force around the world is going to step back and say, well, we're not going to pay attention. So they are telling folks, be aware and take certain steps, know who's coming to your building, and do other things to make sure that you can limit the ability of people to perpetrate an attack.
What? What the fuck? Bro. He's talking about it like it's a certainty. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand this at all.
Yeah, you can understand why people might be unnerved. My son called me from college because he saw it. Is something going to happen?
That's awesome. I love that is news coverage. My son called me from college
On Friday, because this is just on the heels. It's 6 days after this appalling, unbelievable attack committed by Hamas in Israel.
Yeah. So intelligence experts are talking about that this is just another part of the campaign. You know, it's not just enough to create this horrific situation. You have to expand on it. You have to use social media. You have to get out there and you have,
especially Muslims, though,
have to put fear in people's homes to spread their message of hate. And so one of the things that schools, particularly in New York, and I think around the country as well, they're reminding parents that letting children watch these types of videos is a really bad idea. That without context, you're going to feed into their deepest fears, whether they're Christian or Jew or Muslim. You have to make sure that people understand that these violent images can have an impact, especially on younger individuals.
Is he talking about the day of jihad? Like, what the fuck's he talking about? Is he literally still saying, like, the day of jihad is a certainty, as certain as the air I breathe? Like, the intifada has globalized. You do not understand. Allah will guide us. And do not show the children what we will do. Like, it's like day of jihad is a certainty. We've already moved past it. Now I'm telling you, like, don't show the children what is going to happen. Because, like, it's going to be too ruthless. Also, make sure that you check your apartment, which is a very specific way to stop the global jihad. I wish I was joking. That's basically what he said so far. He said, guys, it's definitely happening. I know it. It's happened many times before. I don't know when. And also, the way to stop it is by checking your apartment. No one said definitely. Thank you for fact-checking me, the Twitch streamer guy, as opposed to this entire supposedly professional outlet of real journalism who have fantasized about a very real day of jihad for 3 minutes now.
In years past or in months past, I don't know when the last time was that the leader of Hamas called.
Wait, did a press briefing?
Are we doing anything to fortify, I guess, the U.S. against any potential activity against Americans, with domestically or abroad, given the calls for a day of jihad and your statement yesterday that now is...
Oh my God, what is this? Bro, what? Wait, what? Max terror threat here in Europe because former Hamas leader called for mass manifestations tomorrow? What the fuck? Bro, the former Hamas leader... Okay, what? What is going on? Like, what sway does a former Hamas leader have? What? Like, I feel like them putting this on Memory TV has given this story more legs than anything else. You know what I mean? What is happening? Like, what? Oh, I don't know. Maybe I don't want to say. I'm not making any predictions. I have no idea what the fuck this thing is. So, it reads like a Facebook propaganda, but I don't fucking know anymore, man. I don't know. Oh, Sid, I'm eating the garbage. I'm on board. It's definitely happening. It has happened already, and it will happen again, I think.
It's not the time to go back and look at any intelligence gaps. Is it the time being...
The one who was killed today allegedly went live before Israel executed him to call for global jihad tomorrow. This is the story I got from the MAGA fam. I love when people add additional seasoning to the story, too. Because, like, this story does not say that at all. Like, I like that they added... I do appreciate that your Facebook boomer parents like added, you know. There are no specific credible threats in New York City. We are aware of the concern that postings circulated online have caused and have increased our uniform deployments at large gatherings of cultural sites to ensure public safety out of an abundance of caution. Now I know it's happening, bro. The New York... the NYPD is working on globalizing the intifada. I see it. I know it in my heart of hearts. The NYPD is saying this so you go out and walk around, roam the streets freely to be better victims to the global jihad. LAPD increased patrols after Hamas urges global day of jihad on Friday the 13th. Dude, that's... Ron DeSantis. Tomorrow, Syria and Iran will meet and decide if they and others will interfere in Israel-Palestine. Yeah. That part makes sense. That it seems a lot more credible and a lot more reasonable than like a call to arms globally or something to activate Islamic sleeper cells.
That tomorrow is supposed to be this day of jihad.
What I meant by yesterday was we're focused on making sure that our intelligence sharing with the Israelis is as sharp and as good as possible for the operations that they are in. I saw some reporting that made it sound like I blew it off. That is not the case. We understand that there will be a need to go back and look at what was missed, by whom and when. Of course we're going to do that. But we've got to stay focused on the task at hand right now. And as for your second question, absolutely, we are constantly in touch with local law enforcement, state and federal officials across the country to make sure that we are as vigilant as we can be to be able to identify and disrupt any threats to the American people. We're absolutely going to stay focused on that.
John, is the concern about publicly addressing the $6 million as now being frozen a concern that it would suggest culpability on the part of Iran on these specific events? And is that too volatile